Bill Medley, the deep baritone voice behind some of the most unforgettable love songs in popular music, has always appeared calm and steady in public. As one half of the Righteous Brothers, he helped create classics like You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin' and Unchained Melody, songs that became part of the emotional soundtrack of generations. To audiences, he was the reliable voice on stage, a performer who seemed grounded and unshakable. Yet behind that image was a life marked by deep personal trials that few people knew about. Over the decades, Medley quietly carried heartbreak, loss, and uncertainty while continuing to sing for millions. His journey reveals something powerful about artists. Sometimes the strongest performances come from people who have faced difficult moments away from the spotlight. For Bill Medley, music became more than entertainment. It became a way to move forward, to stay connected to others, and to give meaning to experiences that life placed along his path. Growing up, surrounded by music, Bill Medley was born on September 19th, 1940 in Los Angeles, into a home where music was simply part of daily life. His father played guitar, and his mother loved to sing, so melodies were never far away in the Medley household. From an early age, Bill showed an instinctive ear for music and a deep voice that would later become his trademark. He sang in church choirs, practiced piano, and learned guitar, not because he was chasing fame, but because music felt natural to him. During his teenage years, he spent much of his time in the school music room rather than on sports fields or social scenes. Those quiet hours helped shape his musical instincts. Along with friends, including a young Bobby Hatfield, Medley formed a small vocal group and performed locally. Their early performances were simple, but they planted the seeds for something much bigger that neither of them could fully imagine at the time: the beginning of a legendary partnership. In the early 1960s, Bill Medley and Bobby Hatfield reunited and quickly realized that their voices blended in a remarkable way. Medley's deep baritone provided emotional weight, while Hatfield's soaring tenor added dramatic lift. Together they formed the Righteous Brothers, a duo that would soon become one of the defining acts of their era. After signing with Moonglow Records, they released early singles that gained regional attention. Soon after, they moved to the influential Phillies Records, where legendary producer Phil Spector helped bring their sound to a larger audience. Their breakthrough came with You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin', a dramatic and emotionally powerful song that soared to the top of the charts. Audiences were captivated by the contrast between their voices and the intensity of the performance. Almost overnight, Medley and Hatfield moved from small venues to national television and major stages across the country. Defining the sound of an era, the Righteous Brothers quickly became pioneers of a style later called blue-eyed soul, blending soulful emotion with pop and rock influences. Their follow-up hits, including Soul and Inspiration and Ebb Tide, confirmed their place among the most influential acts of the 1960s. What made them unique was their ability to deliver songs with raw sincerity rather than elaborate showmanship. On stage, a simple glance or carefully phrased lyric could transform the atmosphere of a room. Bill Medley also proved himself as a songwriter and producer, helping craft songs that carried emotional depth and lasting appeal. As the duo toured widely, their music connected with listeners who found pieces of their own lives reflected in the lyrics. For Medley, the most remarkable moment was hearing crowds sing the songs back to him. It was the realization that the music had moved beyond the studio and become part of people's personal memories. Personal challenges behind the spotlight. While Bill Medley's career continued to flourish, his personal life brought moments of deep reflection and challenge. One of the most difficult events came when his former wife, Karen Klaus, passed away unexpectedly in the 1970s. The loss deeply affected Medley, who temporarily stepped back from touring to focus on his family and young son.
During that period, he faced the reality that fame and success could not shield anyone from life's uncertainties. Years later, advances in forensic science helped clarify what had happened, bringing some sense of closure after decades of unanswered questions. Although the pain of the loss never completely disappeared, Medley often spoke about how family, faith, and music helped him find strength. The experience also shaped the emotional honesty in his later performances, reminding him that songs about love and loss often mirror the realities people face in their own lives. Love, family, and quiet stability. Throughout his life, Bill Medley experienced different chapters of love and companionship.
After earlier relationships that did not last, he eventually found long-term stability with Paula Vasu, whom he married in 1986. Their relationship grew from mutual respect and understanding, and together they built a family life that remained largely private. The couple welcomed a daughter, McKenna Medley, who later developed her own musical talents and occasionally performed alongside her father. Medley's son from his first marriage, Darren, also pursued music for a time before moving into a different professional path. Over the years, Bill Medley became not only a father, but also a grandfather and great-grandfather. Despite the pressures of a long career in entertainment, family remained an anchor for him. These relationships helped balance the intense pace of touring and recording, offering moments of normalcy that many performers rarely experience. Losing a musical partner. In 2003, Bill Medley faced another profound moment when Bobby Hatfield passed away unexpectedly while the duo was on tour. For Medley, the loss was deeply personal as well as professional. Hatfield had been more than a musical partner. He was a friend who had shared decades of performances, recordings, and travel. After his passing, Medley took time away from the stage to process the change. The silence that followed reflected how important their partnership had been. Eventually, however, Medley returned to performing, determined to keep the spirit of the Righteous Brothers alive. Later collaborations with singer Bucky Hurd allowed audiences to hear the beloved songs again, while honoring the legacy Hatfield helped create. For Medley, continuing to perform became both a tribute and a way to preserve the musical bond they had built together. Resilience through health and loss. Later in life, Bill Medley faced health challenges that threatened the very instrument that defined his career, his voice. A diagnosis of throat cancer required surgery and months of recovery. For any singer, the possibility of losing the ability to perform is deeply unsettling. Fortunately, the procedure was successful, and Medley gradually returned to singing. Around the same time, he experienced the passing of his wife Paula after years of illness, another emotional turning point. Through these experiences, Medley often described the stage as a place of healing. Performing again was not about proving anything to others, but about reconnecting with the part of himself that had always found strength in music. Each concert became a reminder that creativity and passion can continue even after difficult chapters in life. A legacy that still resonates today. Bill Medley's legacy extends far beyond chart-topping hits. With his distinctive baritone and heartfelt delivery, he helped shape the sound of popular music and influenced countless artists who followed. The Righteous Brothers songs continue to be played on radio stations and in films, and their recordings remain among the most recognizable in music history. Medley himself was honored with induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a recognition of the duo's lasting impact. Even in his later years, he has continued recording and occasionally performing, sharing music that reflects the experiences of a long life. For audiences, his voice still carries the same emotional depth it always has, and perhaps that is the true measure of his career. Songs that endure, memories that stay with listeners, and a voice that continues to tell a story of resilience, heart, and enduring love for music.